So our job as financial planners is first and foremost about helping you build an achievable plan and work towards meeting the goals that you set yourself in life. The way we do that is by being forward-looking and using cash flow planning tools to take a snapshot of where you are today and where you want to get to in the future, and then to project your wealth forward to see what the future holds for you. Once we've done that, we can get a real understanding of where you are relative to those goals and what else needs to be done to achieve them. We can also step back and use an iterative approach to work through various different scenarios to see what life would look like if we made some different decisions now, and if we apply some of our financial planning knowledge to get you where you want to go more efficiently. Lots of benefits of doing that. So from your point of view, one of the first things that clients say is they get real peace of mind from it, and for the first time in their life they can really confidently say that they're on track to do all the things that they want to in life. Also helps you make good decisions with suitable context, and there's real value in knowing now what a likely retirement date might be, whether you can afford that holiday home in the south of France, whether you can put your kids through private school. And so by reframing that and getting that understanding today, you can take small actions to get you back on track. And for a lot of our clients, actually, they find that they've got enough wealth, and by doing this exercise, they find that they'll be able to do more with it today with the confidence they've still got enough for tomorrow. So they're the primary benefits for you. It also is a really useful exercise for us as your financial planner to help you make better decisions. So one of the things that we can use this powerful cash flow planning software for is for us to look at the impact of making different financial planning decisions now, using different tax wrappers to save in and using different tax wrappers to accumulate your wealth from. And by doing that, we can make sure we're building your plan as efficiently as possible and making sure you get from A to B, paying as little tax as possible along the way and with as little risk as possible along the way. Alongside that, we also use these tools to stress test the plan. So we have a look at the impact of various disasters that could befall you along the way, be that market crashes to you or your partner suffering a period of illness or, heaven forbid, passing away. And we can really make sure then the plan that we built is robust. And if there are any weaknesses on it, they're things we can talk about now and put fixes in place for. So the final thing we use this plan for is as a roadmap to keep you on track in the future. So we'll be sitting down regularly after we've got a finalised plan for you to revisit it. And that will address a couple of things. One, it will ensure that you're sticking to the plan and we're delivering on what we've talked about. But secondly, it will allow us to adapt to change. So things will undoubtedly change over the coming years. They'll change with you, and they'll also change with things like tax, legislation, etc. Having that plan there enables us to identify any deviations from the plan early and nip them in the bud. It also enables us to adapt to changes in things like tax and legislation and make sure us as financial planners can make good decisions alongside you to keep you on track. So the clients we've done this with over the years have found it hugely empowering as an exercise, and it really forms the cornerstone of our review meetings and is the bedrock of why when we look back in 10, 15 years' time, we've been able to move them towards meeting the goals that them set themselves. So I thought it would be useful to look at an example of how we've used cash flow to help somebody in a similar position to you. So it's not uncommon for people to approach us when retirement starts looming over the horizon, and they're trying to make that really big decision of giving up a lifetime of secure income and moving into uncertain territory of having to use their own wealth to fall back on for the rest of their life. So what we did for this particular client is they had similar objectives to many people. They'd built up a decent pot of money over their working life, and they wanted to understand if they had the ability to stop working, to sustain the kind of lifestyle they wanted for the rest of their days, to make sure they could cover things like healthcare costs if they arose in later life, and to also leave a decent chunk left over for the kids, ideally without the taxman getting too much of it. So what we did is we used the cash flow planning tools that we talked about earlier, and we built them their own cash flow model, and we started projecting forward their future wealth based on them doing all the things that they told us that they wanted to do. And in this example, you can see quite quickly we were able to answer the key questions for them, which were, have I got enough? And how can I do this as effectively as possible? So we looked at the question of whether they had enough. And actually the cash flow showed us that if they did everything they wanted to in life, including taking the kind of risks they said they were comfortable with, actually they had sufficient wealth to cover all of that with a decent margin built in at the end of it. We then moved on to start using the cash flow planning tool to think about the way in which they drew from their wealth. It wasn't enough to say yes, they could achieve their goals. We wanted to see if they could go beyond that and do better. And the way we did that is we looked at the impact of them drawing on different pots of money at different points and using the various tax allowances they had available to them. And where we ended up is with a finalised plan which actually put them in a far better position by ensuring that they were paying less tax over the rest of their working life, but also ensuring when they went to pass money on to the kids, more of it went to the children and less went to the tax man. And we did that by, as I say, deferring on drawing on some of their wrappers whilst making the best of those other ones and the allowances they had available to them. And once we finalised that plan for them, as we said earlier, we're now sitting down with that client yearly, and things have changed as we knew they would. But what we can do each year is he sits down, he tells us how much money that he needs, and we can use that plan to validate that he's not taking too much, and then just test where the best place to take it from is.